All right, everyone, welcome back to Cheddar Climate, the fight for change. While climate change affects the entire globe here in the United States, it has largely become a political issue. Different administrations and different White Houses have taken very different stances on the issue of global warming, and lawmakers are often split on how best to tackle it. Earlier today, I sat down with Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley to break down the new plan from Senate Democrats. Take a look. All right, Senator Jeff Merkley, Democrat from the great state of Oregon. Thank you so much, Senator, for taking the time today. Let's begin with the ongoing climate crisis. Not very long ago, Senate Democrats rolling out their own plan here. You call to reduce emissions from electricity, transportation, agricultural sectors, and others. I couldn't help but notice you rolled out the plan at the end of August, not that long before an upcoming huge election. Why do you think the climate crisis can be a winning issue for Democrats in this election?
Well, the majority of America is now very aware that the climate is changing and having a tremendous impact, from the more intense floods in the Midwest to the tropical storms and hurricanes hitting the Gulf and hitting Florida and the East Coast, to, of course, these devastating apocalyptic forest fires in the West. And so with that awareness and with the energy of younger Americans saying, this is the world we're going to inherit, we have to act now, I think we are now building tremendous political momentum to address this challenge.
Senator, critics have said that even your plan perhaps does not go far enough to directly take on and challenge the fossil fuel industry. I'm curious, from your perspective, is there still room for progress? Is there still room for growth beyond what you and your Senate Democrat colleagues rolled out recently?
Yeah, absolutely. What we laid out was a strategy of saying, hey, let's spend at least $400 billion per year. I think we need to spend more, but that would be a tremendous improvement on where we are. Let's provide extensive subsidies to greatly accelerate the transition to renewable energy. Let's set a date, 2035, by which we're going to stop selling fossil fueled cars and light pickups and vans. Let's set a date, also 2035, to do full 100% renewable energy for our electrical grid. In other words, concrete goals, resources applied to the challenge. And as this transition occurs and we build political momentum and energy on Capitol Hill, we'll be able to start saying, and we need to move even faster, in an even bolder fashion. But for right now, I think this is a dramatic transition from where we are, with the Senate controlled by the fossil fuel industry, working to sabotage any progress.
Senator, you know as well as I do, the current president of the United States sometimes downplays climate science. During a recent trip to California, he was there alongside the state's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, visiting those devastating wildfires, and he basically says, I don't really think the science knows. What's your reaction when you hear the president of the United States say things like that?
The president is completely ignorant. He doesn't see this problem and go, I need to understand it. He sees a problem and says, I'm not going to admit to a thing. I'm funded by the fossil fuel industry. I don't care about the future of the planet. I care about getting reelected. So I'm just going to put my hands over my eyes and my ears, and I'm going to pretend that climate isn't an issue. It's a complete failure of leadership on perhaps the most important issue facing human civilization on this planet. And he said those comments in the middle of these ferocious fires in which we can measure how dry the forests are, how many lightning strikes there are, how much wind is applied. We can see the dynamics of the other impacts of climate in the West, the shrinking snowpack, the ocean temperatures going up, the stream temperatures going up, the ocean acidification going up, which is affecting rural America in a dramatic and powerful way. Our forests, our fishing, our farming, all impacted, and the president is just choosing to be ignorant and, again, complete failure to lead this nation forward.
Senator, what would a Joe Biden-Kamala Harris White House mean for the U.S.'s role in the global fight regarding climate change?
Well, we have to think of climate change as a tragedy that comes on a global scale. Every country has to be part of this. And so we might suddenly have a White House that is saying to Canada, you have said you want to be a partner in this. You can't keep developing the tar sands and shipping oil around the world. Europe, you're choosing to build a future based on natural gas from Russia. That isn't going to help solve this problem. China, you're promoting 200 coal plants around the world while developing renewable energy at home. We're all going to suffer if you keep promoting these plants. In other words, putting America back in a position of global dialogue, global leadership. So we're not only getting our own house in order, we're working in partnership with the world. It's only through that kind of partnership that human civilization is going to be able to tackle this issue.
Senator, of course, we're now doing this interview in the distinct political and legal reality of a sudden vacancy on the Supreme Court. How concerned are you that that vacancy on the High Court could have a negative impact on climate science and climate law as you see it?
It has enormous impact, both directly and indirectly. The impact, one impact is the impact on the election integrity. And our Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act, which has unleashed a huge amount of voter suppression and intimidation, which helps out the fossil fuel industry enormously. Our Supreme Court has unleashed dark money in campaigns, which really in 2014 was the new tool that the fossil fuel industry gained to take control of the Senate. Our Supreme Court has already thrown up its hands and says we can't do anything about gerrymandering, which is a complete failure of the court. So the court is failing to defend the vision of government of, by, and for the people, and is instead promoting a nation where the powerful run the operation. And it's kind of the Supreme Court's new golden rule is those who have the gold rule. That is not a republic. That is not democracy in action. That is not the vision of our Constitution. And that's why this is such a problem, because it is election manipulation that is at the heart of the fossil fuel industry trying to prevent the American people from acting. So it is a very big deal indeed to lose a champion for civil rights and election integrity, as well as a champion for consumer interests over corporate interests, because there is, of course, vast corporate interests in the fossil fuel world, and they are winning case after case before the court.